Hello and welcome back to the Bucket List Gamers podcast. I am Jay, and as always, I'm joined by Eddie.
Hello!
And we are doing our fashionably late awards show, because we should have done this in January. It's now March as we record this, so I'm going to wager it's April by the time you're listening to it at the very least. We've had a little hiatus. I mean, we've still been doing stuff, haven't we? We've still been doing YouTube videos and the like. We've just not really recorded any podcasts because we've just not had time. But we are back on it today. We're going to do our award show. We've kept the majority of the stuff in the categories to actually 2025. There are a few that may have snuck in from 2026 where we've been struggling a little bit. But we've kept it fairly faithful. And we're going to split this into 2 episodes as well because we've a feeling it may go long. So we're going to try and keep it into 2 shorter, maybe half an hour episodes rather than doing it all in one big go. So we've split the categories up. We've tried to save some good stuff for the second one and also not just done all the dreck in the first one. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. And we are kicking off with most surprising on the list. So this is the only category in it that's about the list. The list seems to have sort of taken a back seat in the podcast, doesn't it? Because this book is atrocious and we're not really enjoying it. But we will get onto a good book once we finish this one, I'm sure. But we're looking at most surprising on the list, and we have come up with, for varying reasons, the candidates are Rayman Legends, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Is it immediately obvious which way we've gone on why those are surprising per one, or do you think we need to go through and just quickly explain? Probably best we do, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Rayman Legends I put forward because it surprised me because I was thinking of the wrong game when we talked about it on the episode. So if I sound confused for the majority of that episode, it's because I was thinking of it. I think I was thinking of Rayman 2 maybe, or like one of the other DS ones. I wasn't thinking of Legends. So I'm saying, oh, it's all 3D, and it isn't, is it? It's a 2D one. It's like the original ones. That's on me. I did consider I think I cut some of the more stupid things I said out, but I couldn't cut all of it out because then it wouldn't have made any sense. That surprised me because of that, but then also I went and played it and I was surprised at how good it was as well. It's twofold why that's made the most surprising on the list for me. The next one, again, is mine, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but for the opposite reason. So I loved these games when I was younger, and I'm pretty sure, I can't remember fully, I'm pretty sure I sang their praises on the episode, but I went back and played them on the remasters, and yeah, I can't enjoy them as much anymore. There's just not much to them. I think it's that thing, isn't it, when you go back to an old game where you see how far games have come. A lot of old games feel like they should be mini games in new games now.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And I think that's how I feel about Tony Hawk now. And like, I don't know if I'd feel the same about the later ones, where there is a bit more story and stuff. But the original ones, where it is literally skate down this course and collect 5 letters and score this many points and do this, they just didn't grip me anymore. And that sort of surprised me because I did absolutely adore those games when I was younger. That's on there for that. Rift Apart was a joint decision. I think we were both impressed at how good that game was. For a PlayStation 5 launch title, especially.
Yeah, that and the fact that I'd never really played any Ratchet & Clank games prior to that. I'd played the remake, and I thought it was okay, but couldn't really see how they'd be able to improve it if they just sort of kept as they were. But then the parallel universe time-hoppy fiasco that goes on with it, I found that really engaging, and the weapons were good and quirky, as they always are. And then, obviously, the title really surprised you.
It did, because I never would have guessed that was a pun on Rip to Fart until you enlightened me in that episode. So that, again, twofold reason for it being on the list. And then the last one is, I mean, we can both agree with this one, but I feel like this was more of a you decision than me. It is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which I will let you explain why we were surprised by that one.
Yeah, the reason it surprised me was it surprised me how much time I sank into it for such a mediocre game. And it surprised me at how disappointed I was ultimately when I look back on my time playing Smash Bros. Ultimate, at how far the series has fallen from like the highs of Melee and Brawl.
You didn't realise when you were playing it, I certainly didn't, how shallow the main mode of it is. There's just nothing to it, is there? It's a pretty map. It may as well have been a linear, you fight this person, you fight this person, you fight this special stipulation. They've put a fancy map on it to make it seem like there's more to it than there actually is, when really all you're doing is going around and doing fight after fight. And what more can you do with Smash Brothers, I suppose? But then you say that and you look back at what they've done in the previous ones, and they did make it fun and they did make it engaging and not just a grind. Like, I got so bored of that main mode in Smash Brothers Ultimate. I never finished it because I'm a bit of a not a completionist, but when it's something like that, I want to do all the side quests before I finish the main mission. And there were certain side quests I couldn't do, and I just got bored and stopped playing it. So I never actually finished the main sort of goal of that mode. But I just remember like Subspace Emissary and stuff being so much more interesting and so much more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they replaced the gacha machine from Melee with, oh, here's these random stickers, most of whom weren't actually Nintendo characters. You got like the twin girls from Fatal Frame. It's like, what child that plays Super Smash Brothers knows what Fatal Frame? One, it's a 20-year-old franchise that I think there is a remake or a remaster that's just come out, I think. So, all right, they may know about it now. They probably didn't know about it when Smash Brothers Ultimate came out. But then also, it was just like, oh, great, it's a sticker that I get to apply, or I can... There was like a crafting menu where you could combine stickers to power up other stickers, and it's like, this is just the ultimate... Again, example of needless fucking busy work. I am collecting stickers to power up shit stickers.
It wasn't fun, was it, when it should be a fun experience? It was a grind. And when any game becomes a grind, I think it's lost its way. And that one certainly had. Was it Ultimate that where we embarrassed those kids? When we were at that game convention, though? Was that Ultimate? See, I think that's what saved it from not winning this category as the most surprising disappointment. Because we did have fun beating those kids to a pulp on it and them calling me a Fortnite player while it was all going on. So yeah, the winner is of this category. Oh, hold on, I've got the drum rolls, haven't I, somewhere? Where is it? We may as well get our money's worth out of this. Is it this one? Oh, there it is. It's Rayman Legends for being surprisingly good. So I didn't need the sad trombone there because it was a genuinely good reason for it winning. Yeah, Rayman Legends really impressed me, and I'm annoyed I didn't play it when it came out. I think I was soured to Rayman by what had come before it, maybe, and I'd just not picked it up. And I've played it since on Game Pass and really enjoyed it. And they're re-releasing Rayman 1, I think, if they've not already done so by this point, aren't they? Which I'm sort of excited for, but at the same time, it just kicked my arse as a kid, and I don't know if I want to go through that again, but I do want to. The opening few levels I will absolutely pick it up and play again, because I love those opening few little jungly levels where everything's nice and chill and you just punch in the odd bloke and freeing those little things out of cages and stuff. But once it gets to the music level where you're sliding along trombones and there's notes with spikes and stuff, I'll probably jack it in again. But yeah, Rayman Legends, a worthy winner of that first category there, I think. So let's move on to... We've got two categories that go hand in hand here. We've got most overrated and most underrated. So which one do you want to start with?
We will do most underrated, I think.
Most underrated. So on our list of 4, and we do have to justify a couple of these, I think, probably, as we go through them. Most underrated, we've got The Alters, we've got Blueprints, Clover Pit, and Gloomy Eyes. So The Alters, I think, speaks for itself. I know it has had a bit of publicity, but I still don't think it's got anywhere near the amount of exposure and coverage that it deserves for what it is. It is a very solid game. It's a very unique concept. I've never seen any other game where you do what you do in The Alters. And I just feel like when you look at what Starfield got when that came out, because it was Bethesda, and then you look at how much The Alters got, snuck onto Game Pass. No one really made a fuss about it. I only found out about it because Aaron mentioned it and I started playing it. And you compare those two games, and yeah, Starfield's massive and it's got loads to do. I think The Alters is a more polished experience that plays better in general and is more of an interesting concept. So I think that one definitely deserves to be on there. Blueprints, I'll let you take this one because it's both, isn't it? It could have gone in most surprising when we get to the most surprising category and stuff, but at the same time underrated. A lot of people have talked about it, but I think your point is that also not enough people have talked about it given how good it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't believe, for something that's procedurally generated or randomized at least, I can't believe how addicted we both became to it
Yeah.
so quickly as well. It is the living embodiment of, just one more go. And before you know it, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and you're late for work.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I can't get my head around the fact that it's a solo developer. It's beautifully rendered, beautifully drawn. The puzzles are ridiculously intricate to the point where there's like full Reddit chats hypothesizing what certain things like the clock hands in the dining room meant, and it's like none of that matters. But it's still quite crafted and quite focused as well.
To say that whole game came from one person's mind
Yeah.
is unbelievable. And like, yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin writing that game, as in coming up with the concept of how all the rooms work and stuff. Never mind then also programming it and making it work and making it polished enough. I mean, we've never had a bug in it, I don't think. We've played it a lot. I've never experienced any sort of bugs or glitches in it. I've never experienced anything where it hasn't been fully tested to the point that one decision locks you out of stuff that you need to do, other than where it's meant to.
Yeah.
When it's a deliberate choice to do that. It's just so well done and well crafted. And it has been mentioned, but I don't know if we've got a bit of a bias because we've mentioned it to each other quite a lot. Jordan, who's in the Bucket List Gamers group quite a lot, he's played it a lot. We've spoke about it a lot. Aaron's played it a lot. We spoke about it a lot. I don't know if we've heard a lot about it because we've all talked about it a lot. I don't recall seeing it covered particularly on like Facebook, or I don't even see that many YouTube videos popping up for it. I've seen, I think the Game Grumps played it, but I've not seen like loads of people. Normally it would come up in my like For You page, and I don't see much of it. So maybe it is not talked about as much as we feel like it maybe is, and is really, really underrated. And like you say, it got to go to the awards, didn't it? Which we talked about in the last episodes, but it didn't get nominated for anywhere near as much as it probably should have done.
No, absolutely.
So I think that fits into the underrated category, even though it is also well known. I mean, critically acclaimed. It's like number 2 or 3 in the Metacritic's like highest rated games of 2025. So by fans and by smaller reviewers and stuff, very well acclaimed. I just don't think it's had the people talking about it that it should have done. Maybe we've done our bit. We've tried to do our bit. We've played it quite a lot on our Patreon, haven't we? And there are some videos going to be moving over to YouTube soon as well, where we're playing it. So if you are interested in the game, check that out. I don't think we've done anything too spoilery in the videos. Like if you want in a few tips and stuff, we've got them in there, but we've not done anything that will break it for you. So there's that. Clover Pit was my inclusion. And it was sort of to pad the category out a little bit because we couldn't think of many others to go in here. But I really enjoyed Clover Pit for what it was. It was one of those where I played it to death for about a fortnight and then haven't really gone back to it. Not finished it yet. But it's a Balatro clone, essentially, but with a slot machine rather than poker hands. So you're building up the reels on a slot machine and you're increasing the chance that certain ones will appear. You're increasing the money that you get from certain wins, so certain win lines or certain symbols. You can have up to, I think it's 7 trinkets, which will all do different things. So some will make cherries appear more often, or one will make certain like symbols gold, and if you get them, that increases the base value of every time you win from that one. So it's like you build it up, but then there's also a time pressure of you've got to make this amount of money in 3 sets of spins, otherwise you're going to die. And there's loads and loads of different abilities and trinkets and all that kind of thing you can get. And it's just quite a detailed game for something that I don't think really got mentioned that much when Balatro gets so much love.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this didn't get a similar response. And I think it's done all right, but I still think more people could do with hearing about it. And I don't know if it's the art style that's put people off because it's very PS1 graphics on purpose. I don't know if it's the grim nature of it because you're sort of locked in a cell, and if you don't pay up in 3 turns, you get dropped into a big mincer, essentially. So there might be those things that make Balatro a bit more friendly and appealing. And then I suppose there's the gambling element if people aren't. But then Balatro's the poker, isn't it?
Yeah, and I kind of get it, but then Inscription was really well rated, which again has similar PS1-y style graphics. There's another one that's very similar called Buckshot Roulette.
Yeah.
Which again is that sort of really grimy PS1 should essentially be set in a survival horror world, basically. But again, they've all come out really well rated.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the last ability, because as I say, I played it intensely for about a fortnight, and then I've just not gone back to it, because I just hit a point where I just couldn't progress, and it became, I mean, by its very nature, slot machines look. It's not like Balatro in as much as you can have a bit of skill in which hands you play and which cards you keep back, and which, there's a bit more skill to that. But it does still have that level of skill in manipulating the machine to come out with what results you want and building towards that, and making, like, you pick a symbol essentially and you go, right, I'm all in on clovers, so I'm going to make more clovers appear more often. I'm going to make clovers gold so the base values go up, and you sort of pick one and try and bulk that up, or you try and spread it so that no matter what you get on a reel, you get in a decent amount of money. So there's different tactics and stuff, so it is quite in depth. I just don't, I think it maybe suffers from, I've hit this point now where it, even if I do the best tactics, I've still got to get lucky on the machine before I'll be able to progress, and maybe that's what killed it off. But yeah, I think it's well worth checking out. I think it's free on Game Pass, so you don't even have to pay for it if you've got Game Pass. On Xbox, you can check that out. And I don't think it's overly expensive if you haven't. And then the fourth entry, again, one of mine, I feel like I've took this category a bit, is Gloomy Eyes, which I don't know if you're familiar with, Eddie. I played it on Twitch. I streamed it on Twitch. So we got given a key for it, very kindly, by the developer. And it's a puzzle game at heart, I suppose, but you play as a little zombie boy called Gloomy Eyes, and he's been resurrected as a zombie in this zombie world, but he's not like the other zombies. He's caring and considerate, and he's like a more human version of a zombie. There's police going around trying to round up all the zombies and take them away, so you have to avoid them. And then there's a little girl in it who is your counterpart, who sort of falls for Gloomy Eyes and vice versa, but you keep getting ripped apart by the authorities, and her dad is like trying to rid the world of zombies, or her uncle or something, so you're constantly getting pulled apart and trying to find yourself back together. But the interesting puzzle aspect of it is, when you get into the meat of the game, zombies will attack her, but they won't attack Gloomy. She can go in the light and Gloomy can't, because the light hurts him. So you have this dynamic where she has to go and shut the lights off so he can pass an area. And then he has to go and like move a zombie out of the way, essentially, so she can get through a different area. And you've got that back and forth between the two characters the whole way through the game. But then you've also got this lovely story of how they keep coming together and getting torn apart, and like they sacrifice themselves for each other and stuff like that. And it is a really nice story, and it's narrated by Colin Farrell, so his voice is doing the story all the way through in that lovely accent. And it was actually it was originally a short film, and they've turned the story of the short film into the game and made it interactive. So it's only about 2 or 3 hours, I think, from start to finish, but it looks gorgeous. It looks so pretty. It controls brilliantly. Some of the puzzles really are head scratchers, but you get such a sense of like achievement when you actually finish them. And because I did it on Twitch as well, and we had 4 or 5 people in chat trying to help me out, it was a really nice experience to do it as a community and go start to finish. So that for me, I think, is massively underrated, because it's quite a big deal. I think, like, you get Colin Farrell in it. It's not a small production, is it? And the audio doesn't follow the short, so it's not like they just ripped his audio out and put it in the game. He would have had to re-record everything for the game, so it was obviously had a lot of love and effort put into it, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, they're my 4. We've not actually picked winners, have we, for most of the categories? We said we'd do it live and on air, so I don't know what you're thinking in that category. I'm leaning towards one of them over the others.
I mean, mine will be Blueprints, but that's because of how much time I sank into it and how much I wasn't expecting to enjoy it.
So I was leaning towards Blueprints, and I was also leaning towards Gloomy Eyes, just because of how Gloomy Eyes is in a different category and Blueprint is also in a different category. I feel like Blueprint has more chance of winning its other category.
Mm-hmm.
Although maybe not, to be fair. But they're both episode 2, so there's a little hook for you to come back to episode 2 and find out. I think we probably have to give it to Blueprints with a special mention for Gloomy Eyes.
Yeah.
because Blueprints is fantastic, and no matter how much people have talked about it, it deserves to be talked about more. So how can we not give it?
Yep, absolutely.
So there's the winner for that category. Next category, most overrated. 5 in this category. We've got Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't know if you can guess who put that in there. We've got Pokemon ZA. We've got Battlefield 6. We've got Mario Kart World. And we've got Ball X Pit. Donkey Kong Bonanza, it will be no surprise to anyone who listens regularly that I did not enjoy it at all. Compared to what I thought I was getting, compared to what it actually ended up being, I just didn't enjoy it. And I've tried, I've gone back to it a couple of times, and I really have tried, and maybe I will at some point get to a bit in it where I'm like, oh, actually, no, this is fun now, but I'm not holding out much hope. So that's why that is in there, because it's just, I was sold on it being like a new Mario Odyssey, and it isn't at all, in my opinion. They've sort of gone, oh, we can do destructive environments, that's fun, and then turned it into like a massive game where that's the central focus when it didn't really need to be.
Yeah.
And that's my issue with it. So that one's pretty straightforward. Pokemon ZA, Eddie, do you want to take this one?
I mean, again, I think this one's pretty straightforward, really. Every Pokemon game that comes out is always hyped, like massively hyped. The fact that they brought back Mega Evolution, which is it's the only gimmick fans really genuinely love. They've tried sort of recapturing it, like the sort of like the mystery and the excitement behind all the other gimmicks that they've done, like it's Frank Bleeding Abagnale. But it's like Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, they were okay. Then there was the terrestrialization thing, like making them look like Swarovski crystals. Great. I dread to think what Wind and Waves is going to do, the Gen 10 launch next year on the Switch 2. But yeah, the hook for this one was we're bringing back Mega Evolution, and then they made something so fucking pedestrian. They took the formula from Legends Arceus, which was a really good and engaging game, and I think the real inclination we should have had that it was going to be piss poor was the fact that it was just set in one city.
Yeah.
You don't get the massive open world biomes that you were sort of like associate with the Pokemon series. It's like, it's a city. Oh, it's got this little fenced off bit of grass here. Go catch the 5 Pokemon species that live in that area. Oh, we need to put the water Pokemon somewhere. I know, we'll have a sewer system because a Sharpedo is going to just be swimming around in the sewers. There was no thought done to it, and it just feels like such a shallow cash grab on what once was a massively venerated series, and off the back of Legends Arceus. I think, yeah, it was overhyped for very little payoff.
For me, I think it was unforgivable changing the battle system.
Yeah.
If you want to do a first-person battle system where you essentially spam buttons, and I know it's technically a spin-off game, but make it an actual proper, completely, this isn't a Pokemon game mainline spin-off if you want to experiment with that kind of thing. Don't stick it in a game where you've already done a Legends game and it wasn't like that. Yeah. And then to just randomly change it to a button masher, essentially, which just, I just, no, I can't. I know some people have enjoyed it, but I just think, you think of mainline Pokemon, you think of turn-based battles, and why would you tamper with that? It just, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, it smacks of they've tried to make a hybrid of Legends Arceus and Pokemon Go, but not in any sort of clever way, because Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee were the right sort of spin-off of main Pokemon series blended with Pokemon Go style gameplay, and they still kept the turn-based.
Yeah, see, even with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, I wasn't a huge fan of the change to the catch system. It made sense to bring people who'd played Pokemon Go into it and have that lead in, but I would have much preferred if there'd have been, at least you had to weaken them with a battle before you did the little throw mechanic to make it more faithful, because it just doesn't make sense, does it? Like, oh, I've encountered a wild thing, I'm just going to launch Pokeballs at it until it catches it. In the world that the regular mainline Pokemon games are set in, that's not how it works. Yeah, from what I remember, I wasn't too pleased with that at the time, and I would have liked, maybe even if it was a toggle to say, what catch mechanic do you want, old or new, and then you could have the best of both worlds. Because they've already got the battle in there, so it wouldn't have made much difference to to do it that way and then tack the ball thing on the end. But yeah, it's just ZA. I bought it, I installed it, I played about half an hour. I've not been back to it yet, which is the story of my life for games these days, to be fair. But I've also not felt the urge to go, oh, I really wish I didn't have to edit an episode and I could play ZA, which I get with other games. I'm like, yeah, I'd much rather be playing that game than editing this podcast. Whereas with that, I've never once thought, oh, but I'd rather be playing that on my Switch. You know what I mean? I went away for a week and took my Switch too, and I played exclusively Fire Red. I never even put ZA in to play it. So
a 20-year-old game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things, and I think Pokopia, when I eventually buy that, will again take over from, because that's been really well received as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
ZA, I wonder if it was different teams on ZA and Pokopia, or whether they were rushing to get this out so they could then focus on finishing something that was much better. I don't know. It's a bizarre one, isn't it? Next up is Battlefield 6, purely on the list because it got nominated for quite a few awards, I think, didn't it? And I just don't see how it can be much different to Battlefield 5 or 4. Or maybe 3, 2, and 1. I don't know. I don't play them often, but it just seems like a game, when you get that deep into it, shouldn't still be getting nominated for awards, is my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a thing that's 6 iterations in. Should it really be getting put up for awards now, or is it just you have a target audience that love playing those games? Yes, great, keep putting out new games for them. But is it doing anything special? Like, I wouldn't expect WWE 2K26 to get in an awards show because it's the same thing that they've been doing since 1999 when the PS2 came out. Do you know what I mean? It's got better, yes. It's got bigger, yes. But it also, I wouldn't go, it's award winning. It's not doing anything that breaks the mold. That's why that we've put in this category. We could be wrong. I'm sure there's some Battlefield 6 player listening, frothing at the mouth. How dare they put that in this category when it's so much better than it's ever been before? But that's why that's in there. Similar vein, Mario Kart World. We put Mario Kart World in there because it was a bit rubbish compared to Mario Kart 8 when it came out.
Which is saying something when you consider how many decades they milked Mario Kart 8 for.
It just like they did, it's a bit like Bonanza. Oh, the big thing is you can smash the whole environment. Well, great. That's fun for about 10 minutes. Mario Kart World. Oh, you can drive around all the maps in an open world. Well, that's great. Is there any point to it? Well, you can do these little challenges that last 10 seconds each. Right, done them. Now what? Oh, nothing. Just go back to doing the normal races. They've built a whole gimmick around something that's boring and there's no need for it to be in there. No one was mad about navigating around menus to pick races, and you still have to do that anyway. So it's not like can you imagine if they released, like, I don't know, like the new Mario Tennis, and it's like, right, you turn it on and you're in Mario's house and you're like, right, I've got to drive to the shop and buy a racket. Right, I've bought a racket now. Back in the car, back in the Mario Kart. We've got to drive to the stadium. Right, go and dump the bags in the changing rooms and have a shower. So you've got to do an interactive shower scene. And then eventually you get out, and it's not necessary, is it? There's no need for this. That whole gimmick, and I think it was tied into the whole Switch 2 launch. It just wasn't great, Mario Kart World, and I don't think it's improved that much since so far. I'm sure they've got plans for it, but again, it's another one where I played it and went, yeah, this was all right. At no point, like when you came round and we played games, at no point did we go, oh, shall we have a Mario Kart World race? It just didn't come into the equation, did it?
No.
And then finally, Ball X Pit, which is one of mine. I don't know if you've played it.
I haven't, no.
So somebody recommended it to me, and we're like, oh, I think this is your kind of game. It's roguelite, whatever it is. And it's basically like Breakout, where you're the paddle at the bottom and you're firing the balls up, but it's not, because you don't have to catch them. When they go behind you, you just get them back anyway. So you're not constantly trying to keep the same balls in play. The balls fire every so often, like on a timer, and you can get all different types that do different effects. Lightning balls that chain attacks together, fire ones that burn enemies, ones that pass through, ones that do more damage if they hit from the side than the back, and all this. Yeah, loved it. First few days when I played it, I thought, yeah, this is pretty good. And then you realise that the most fun part of the game is building your little city above ground, and you have to do the actual bulk of the game as a chore to get back to be able to build more bits. At least for me, that's how it was anyway, because the main bit of the game gets very repetitive very quickly. and you end up making the same choices for the balls because you end up working out which ones tend to be the best. You end up taking the same perks because you know how your style of gameplay is. You end up using the same people because there's loads of different people that all have different abilities, unless you need to use other people because you've got to finish each level with each player to unlock more stuff. So all that just becomes really mundane and pedestrian, and you just literally moving left and right and aiming the thing, and you're like, you almost don't even have to pay attention for some of it until you get to the bosses and stuff like that. Or to just get back to the above ground bit, put a few more buildings up, which the buildings are designed to make the other bit more fun because you get perks and different players and stuff when the buildings are made. So it does have that. I'll give them credit. That one more play cycle thing is really strong in it because you're like, oh, I'm just going to do the bit I don't really want to do one more time so that I can then send all the villagers out like a little pinball thing and build more residences to then unlock something in the bit that I don't really enjoy doing that much. But then maybe I'll enjoy it a bit more when I've got something new to play with down there. And then it just constantly loops. So it's clever and it is well built in terms of keeping you playing. But I think comes a point where you're like, I'm not enjoying playing it. I'm just playing it because
it's just Stockholm Syndrome at that point.
Yeah,
it's keeping me captive.
I want to finish the above world bit, so I've got to play the below world bit, and I'm just not really unlocking anything, and it's a grindy and all that. And I think that's why I've put it in here, because I think there's far better roguelike games like this where you're building your perks, and it's like a deck builder, isn't it, without the cards. You're building up what you can do. So Balatro-y a little bit, but more so Vampire Survivors and that kind of thing, I would say, where you're constantly building things. They synergize together and it's got all that going for it. But I'd just rather play Vampire Survivors. I have far more fun on that. So that's why I think it's because it did get a lot of hype, I think, when it came out. And I've seen, opposite to like we said with Blue Prince and Clover Pit, I've seen quite a lot of people on YouTube playing it and stuff and hyping it up. And I just don't think it's that good. It is good. I got it free on Game Pass, so I'm happy with how much enjoyment I got out of it. I nearly paid 20 quid for it on Steam the week before it went on Game Pass. If I'd done that, I think I'd have a much more negative view on it now. So that's the ones in this category. What are you leaning towards? See, I'm ruling out Bonanza because I think that's a me thing. A lot of people seem to like it.
Do you know, I am kind of leaning towards Mario. Because a lot of the Mario Karts, like predominantly, overwhelmingly positive reviews at time of release, as well as a maintained enthusiasm for them over the years. I think Double Dash potentially is the one that sort of fell down a little bit below people's expectations, but it is still a cult classic now, possibly because it was on the GameCube, and the GameCube is just one of those cult icons in terms of games consoles these days because no one bought one. But yeah, I think with how much hype and anticipation a new Mario Kart was, particularly because of the fact that they'd milked 8 to oblivion, I think everyone was like, oh yes, finally, new Mario Kart, they can do whatever they want with it, and what they did was shit.
I honestly think they could have just gone, we're putting open world in Mario Kart 8, and we are putting in because the two new things, the main two new things, I think, were the open world that you could ride around in and the like elimination battles, wasn't it? Because all the courses are linked together in the open world, you get that thing where you just drive one course to the next, to the next, to the next, and whoever's at the back when you finish gets wiped out, and it just keeps going. I like that mode. I just don't think it's enough to carry Mario Kart World at the minute. They could have probably backed the changes that they've made in Mario Kart World into Mario Kart 8 and just done it as another DLC, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been difficult, but what I'm saying is there's not enough to warrant a new game in what they've done with Mario Kart World, I don't think. And I know they're going to DLC it out the arse and then it will become a decent game eventually. And this is it. I think the expectation was set high. That's the problem. And that's why it's most overrated, because everyone, like you say, new Mario Kart game, it's going to be amazing. And if that Mario Kart World had come out when 8 came out, we'd have probably all been going, yes, it's fantastic. But I think the expectation was so high to get something. See, this is the issue I'm having, because I want to call it bad or mediocre, and it isn't by most game standards, but by a Mario Kart standard it is, if that makes sense. Yeah, most overrated. Probably Mario Kart World for me as well.
Yeah, when all you're doing is the best that you can come up with is to take an existing game that is broken down into essentially levels or chapters or stages and add an open world that only adds a commute between those levels. You may as well just stick to chapters, levels, stages, and just have done with it.
I mean, as well as that, Crash Team Racing did this, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago? They did the overworld, like, level select thing. And it's not even a level select in Mario Kart World. That's the thing. You don't go to a place and then start a tournament or a race. You just open the menu to do that. It's just that you can just drive round it while you're free running and crash into other Yoshis and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. I don't get what they were going for and why they thought everyone would absolutely love what they've done with it. And like I say, not a bad game in itself, but just everyone was so hyped up for a new one that I don't think it could ever live up to the expectation. But what they actually did was just so much worse than what we were expecting. So yeah, most overrated. Unfortunately, Mario Kart World. I feel like we are shitting on Nintendo a little bit in what we've spoke about so far. But I mean, if the boot fits or whatever the phrase is.
Yeah.
A couple of little fun categories now that aren't up for debate. These are cold, hard facts. We've got the most popular episode and the most popular YouTube video we've done over the last year. So I'm going to let you know which 4 episodes were the most listened to, and then see if you can guess which was the most listened to. So we've got the Minecraft episode, where we talked about the games and the film. We've got the Little Big Planet episode. We've got the Breath of the Wild episode we did with Trevor, which was a fun one. And then we've got the mobile games one. It was like Angry Birds, Crossy Road, and all those, all rolled into one episode. Which, if this helps you decide a little bit, that was the first episode of the year we did. So that's been out longest.
Okay.
Which could factor into it.
So, in my heart, I would like it to be the one with Trevor, because I enjoyed that episode. It was something all 3 of us were actually quite passionate about talking to. A guest on the show is always nice, particularly when it's someone of Trev's caliber, but I don't think it is. I think it's because of how relevant it was at the time. I think it was the Minecraft one.
Okay, no, you are wrong.
Oh.
Minecraft was second, most listened to. Breath of the Wild was third, and Crossy Road was fourth. So it was the Little Big Planet episode, bizarrely. Because there was nothing particularly special about that episode. We just talked about the Little Big Planet games. It wasn't relevant at the time. We didn't have a guest on. It wasn't a big game at the time. But yeah, for some reason, the Little Big Planet episode is our most listened to of last year, bizarrely.
And it's not one that we had particular fondness for or bile. We were just they're nice games. There wasn't any vitriol or anything, which is usually what gets the crowd, but...
Just a normal little chat, unless we talked about something else where we did slag something off towards the end of it, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, we'd have to listen to it back, and my memory doesn't go that far back. And then, yeah, the other ones, Angry Birds, I think, is up there because it was the first one of the year, so it's just gradually ticked up. The Minecraft one, I think the movie helped it out. Get up there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like you say, Breath of the Wild, Zelda games always seem to do all right when we talk about them. So probably that. So yeah, that's the most popular episode of all time, still the GTA one. The GTA one still gets like 5 to 6 listens a week, even now. And I don't know why, because it's a shit episode. It is one of the worst episodes we've ever done. And I think that may be why we've not got bigger than we are now, because that's the episode everyone listens to and thinks these 2 idiots, what are they on about, and doesn't listen to anymore. But for some reason, it's just super popular.
The thing is, as well, is we keep mentioning the episode in other episodes. So people are obviously going, oh, I'm going to go listen to it now. And they do, and they go, oh yeah, I don't like these guys.
No, don't listen to that one. Go and listen to the Shenmue one, or well, there's loads of other ones where we're angry about things. I don't know which one we talked about. What was it called? That one where you're fighting a load of cyborg robots, and we thought it was going to be good, and it was shit. Oh God, what's it called now? You know which one I'm on about? Where it's all synths, and you've like It's like the end of the world.
Oh, Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart, yeah. I don't know what episode that was in, but we gave that a good thousand in one of them. So go back and have a listen to that one. That was a good one.
Or the Roblox one. The Roblox one is great. The amount we beep out of that.
Yeah, that could have got us in trouble, that episode, to be fair. There's a lot of beeping going on in that one. I think if I ever release the unedited version on Patreon, I'd still have to beep some of it out because some of it is genuinely slanderous. I've just said that just as Eddie took a drink as well, so not the best timing.
Oh dear.
Right, next category, most popular YouTube video. Is this our last one? Have we saved this? Oh no, we have one big one to end on. So most popular episode YouTube video we've done. So the candidates are Drug Dealer Simulator, Lustful Victor, the first Phasmophobia episode of me and Aaron, where I put genuine effort into editing it and it switches between cameras and all that business, and Jack of Clubs, which was the golf game we played. So I don't know if you actually know the answer to this, but I'm going to let you have a guess.
I don't. I am going to hazard a guess that the one that you put all the effort into did not get the best views.
That is the lowest one. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured that with the way you said it. I'm going to say Lustful Victor because porn games normally draw a crowd as well.
So just as a little reference point, most of our video game videos get 25, 26 views. They don't do particularly well. Aaron's shorts do well, but they're shorts, so they just get fired off to everyone. Some of the videos we've done recently, like the Pokemon opening ones, I did one on the new set that we've just been talking about before we started recording, Perfect Order, which as we're recording comes out in 2 days' time, but because we've got a Play Store, we could buy it from Monday. So I bought the ETB and the booster box on Monday and I did a video for that, and that's had 340 views in like the space of 2 days because it's relevant, because it's current. But usually our video ones, like our Resident Evil 1 got like 20. Yeah, so that we usually get like, if we've got 100 on a video, we've done particularly well. Normally it's like half that, I would say. So just to put these figures into perspective for you, Phasmophobia got 300, so it did all right by regular other video standards. And then we did a couple more and they sort of diminishing returns, but they all cleared over 150, I think. So they did all right. Drug Dealer Simulator somehow got 413 views. I genuinely don't know why. Because it's not a good video. It's all right. It's just us talking about the game, you, me, and Aaron, and saying it's basically Schedule 1's ripped it off, but it's done it way better, I think was the crux of the conversation we had. Lustful Victor got 3,100 views since we put that out.
God love the weebs.
That came second.
Jesus.
And first, Jack of Clubs with 15,000 views.
What?
And I don't know why. So I've looked into the analytics on this, and 96% of them are men from Finland.
Yes! We've got a demographic!
Explain that, I don't know. I mean, it just says YouTube ads, and it says Finland. Like, you can see the most populated and it's all Finland, and it's all men. And then like there's like maybe 100 is just regular views, and all the rest is that. So I don't know if somebody in Finland decided to run an advert for our game, but I don't know for our video, but I don't know why you would. And then like the guy who developed the game actually has commented on the videos and said thanks for covering it. Sorry, I missed it at the time and all this. Around the time this spike happened, so I don't know if he did it, but then why would you just pick Finland as the place you wanted to show it to? And like the other weird thing is as well, because all videos have like a average watch time, and usually because loads of people will click in and just it straight back off, it's usually unbelievably low, and then you can see like the opposition to the rule where one person or two people may have watched it all the way through and stuff like that. That's got quite high like retention and watch time as well. So it's not like they were just seeing it, clicking it and then removing it. They've actually stuck around to watch us in not their native language talk about a 2D golf game where you're hitting the ball around an island and collecting coins and stuff. I don't understand what has happened there. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
I kind of want to go on holiday to Finland now and see if we're gods.
Yeah, just big posters of our logo up and down the streets, and you never know, do you? You never know.
No.
So we were going to do one last category here, but we're already at 50 minutes. And that's, I think, finding out that we're potential celebrities in Finland is a nice little way to end this first part of the Game Awards episode. So I think we will say that we'll call it there, and we will cover the categories that you can expect to hear in episode 2 as a little hook for you. We've got biggest disappointment, which is always going to be fun. We've got most surprising game of the year. We've got most overpriced game of the year. We've got the worst game and the best game of the year, and we have the Game Changer Award as well. Lots to come back for in the next episode, but all that remains for me to do in this one is to thank our Patreons. So I will say a big thank you to, in the Couple of Coins tier, we have got Harry Flynn. In the Bucket Kicker tier, we have got Ric Flair, Zombev, Dochez, Aaron, and Skullstash. Thank you. Oh, and Slope's Game Room as well. So thank you to you guys. And then in the Avatarnish tier, we've got the Sweaty Llama. And in our brand new Magnificently Magnetic tier that has replaced the Avatarnish tier, we've got Kit Wilson. So thank you guys for subscribing and supporting us on our Patreon. It is much appreciated. We do keep popping the odd bit of content on there. There is an episode on there that as soon as we finish recording this, I'm going to put live for everyone else because it should have happened ages ago and I forgot, which is the Q&A that we did, which was for our Patreon listeners. That should have only been exclusive for about a week, I think, and it's been like 3 months now. So that's going on there, so look out for that. You've probably already heard it if you listen to this one, but if you haven't, go and check that out because that was a really fun one. I think that's probably, if we had a category from the favourite episode of recording last year, I think that Q&A would have been it. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, that is it from me. And unless there's anything you want to raise, Eddie, before we call it on this one.
Nope, all good from me.
I will say that it's goodbye from me.
And that's goodbye from me.